Alright girls, here we are looking at our game against Olimpia. I promise this won't be as long as the last one. I think there's just a couple things we want to go over. Obviously key plays in the game, and then a couple things to work on, and then mostly just kind of like giving examples of things we talked about in the last video going better, and then things we talked about before the game during halftime and what those things look like. So first things first, it was very early in the game. We're going to see the goal scored on us and see what happened, right? So this was unfortunately a byproduct of us kind of building out slowly, allowing pressure here, and not giving many new options. So what we can see here really easily is a big gap of space here that I think we could utilize to our advantage. I think there's a little bit of slow movement from our center mids here that could probably, I would like to see move over to fill over this space to allow, right? Because the whole idea when we are playing on the wings here, right, anywhere wide, the whole idea is we want to create overloads. And again, overloads mean we have more people in that area than they do. And that's obviously not the case right here. So we've kind of left poor Kala isolated a little bit, right? Sydney's only the real option right now. But there is someone not closely marking, but marking her enough, and the ball just came from there. So it's hard to get it back to where the ball just came from. There's obviously came from pressure. So Kala's doing her best here, trying to find options. Obviously, this did not work out. I think we could probably do a little bit better here. Should there be someone in the space here trying to split these defenders, I think we'd be a little bit better off. So we find that space here, right? I think we can get that ball central. It didn't happen, and unfortunately, 28 just had a very good shot here. What are you going to do, right? There's nothing the keeper can do about that. It bounces off the bottom of the crossbar, is what it is, right? So obviously nothing to worry about with the shot. I think, and here's another example of that isolated build out, right? There's pressure from 28 again, right? 28 is actually a very good player, so she knows what she's doing, and you can kind of see, we talked about on her closeout, right? We see the closeout here. We talked about the quick, slow, sideways low, right? She's quickly closing out. She's slowing down when she gets close. She is giving up one area, so that's the sideways, right? She wasn't quite low, but we kind of see the idea here. She closes out, allows one space, and then she's waiting for that heavy touch. She's able to get it out. Now, back to our side of it, right? Again, we're kind of isolating Kala here, right? Leaving her out to dry. I think this is better. There's more options. There's obviously not as much black around, so there's probably more options for Kala here. But this is one of those times where we need to be vocal about it, right? This ball is getting played backwards to her. It's not coming from Sydney again. So Sydney, I'd like to see you guys in the back line be a little bit more vocal here. I'm perfectly fine with this ball being played back to get away from pressure, right? It didn't happen. Obviously, Kala ran into some issues. 28 again got the ball, and they were off, right? Another thing I want to point out is, and this is kind of why I tell you guys to make sure we're playing wide to stretch the defense, right? We have defenders out. We're not tracking the runners into the box, so we have somebody standing on top of the box here, right? Number one, we have standing on the box, and then we have somebody back post, which is exactly where they should be, right? That's great spacing. That's where they want these players, and we're not marking them, right? We've kind of all turned to watch the ball. If they could get any kind of ball into the middle, they'd have a great chance to score the goal. So it's one of a couple things. One, obviously, we kind of isolated Cal in that build out. And number two, on that transition defense, we want to make sure we are filling lanes on the run back, but we almost like check back to the goal and then turn around and see what's in front of us, right? So in this case, I think Sydney would be the person on this side, right? The center back on this side. But we're kind of, you can see we're covering for Kennedy. That's fine. We see Kala filling back. Sydney, Kennedy, and Hannah all kind of get pulled apart, right? But once we see that ball go wide, and then I'm looking at Kennedy, Sydney, and Calla in this instance, right? I'd want to see you turn around, check back what's in front of you, right? Just take a quick glance, because we obviously have enough defenders over here to make life hard at least, right? So this didn't end up hurting us, but it's something that, again, if they went for a pass across instead of a shot, that could have been goal number 2. All right. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is our throw-ins, right? So we, and it's my own doing, we talk about it a lot. I tell you I want the wingbacks to take the throw-ins. I think we do it to our own detriment sometimes. In this case, Harmon actually left the ball for Calla to come get. What I kind of want to get to is I would like quicker throw-ins before the defense is set. If that means the wing is the closest one to it, wing can take it. If the wingback is closest, great, that's fine. But if it's a case where, say, there's subs or we can't get a quick throw in, we have to go get the ball, something like that, we want to make sure that we are giving a short option to bounce the ball off of. And this is kind of similar to something we'll get to in a little bit with our corner kicks. I talked last video about showing short to be a short option and get the ball back in play. Right? It's the same idea. If we can have somebody showing shorter here, right? So in this case, if Harmon were to just step here and Calla can throw to her feet and it just bounces off of Harmon back to Calla as she steps back in bounds, that's activating that player, right? We talked about that when we played indoor. Activating the player that's playing the ball in and getting it back to even numbers, right? That's the one thing that sucks about throw-ins is the person that's doing the throw-in is not a target, right? We can do that. If we can get them back in quickly, we can continue that overload, right? Right now, it's 3-on-3. We get Calla back in quickly, it's 4-on-3, and we have that advantage. And we kind of see this play out, right? We're kind of forcing these throw-ins. Now, I will say, Calla, these are great throw-ins, right? You're getting some good distance on these and doing well, right? And this is another instance, right? Harmon's right there. If we can get that throw-in back to Calla quickly, I think we'd be in a better spot. But it's something we will work on Monday. As far as those quick throw-ins, what they look like. But again, the idea is to get the ball back in quickly. If that means I just throw it to someone's feet and it bounces off of their foot back to mine, perfect. At least the ball's in and we're good to go. Now, this one, this is just special consideration, right? This is a great play, right? So it's not great from the team. We turn this ball over. 28 just has this miraculous shot. I don't know how this is goal bound, but Mya is able to get to it and force a corner. I'm going to let you all watch it again because this is fantastic. This is great work out of you, Mya. So again, we turn the ball over. I don't know how this is goal bound, but look at that. Mya's on it, gets it out. This is perfect. Mya, you saved it. That's a sure goal. That's as good as scoring a goal right there. So great work out of that. All right, now this is, if you guys watched the last video, you'll know I talked about our corners, what I wanted to see from it. This is the example of it. So we have the twins in the corner there. One's taking this corner, one's short. What we're seeing here is this ball played very short, right? Again, they cannot come within 10 yards of the flag. So we play it very short just to activate that corner person. And what we have out here is a 2-on-1, right? This whole area, the whole wide area is 2-on-1. Right, so what we do, and they do it masterfully here, right? They play the ball in and then overlap, and I'm going to go back to it so you can see. Right, what they do here is they play the ball in quickly, play it short, and then the corner taker, does a quick overlap. So activated. Now this overlap. As soon as the person goes to press the ball, we pass back, and this ball is on. Now. This is unfortunate. I think Callie even told me on the way in, back to the bench, that she had that that touch was a little bit harder than she wanted it to be. But that's the idea, right? We'll watch this one more time. The idea here is, corner's taken, we're back in, it's 2-on-1, make the defense choose, and then we're in on goal, right? Touch gets away, but that idea is there, right? I really like that idea, right? All right, now we're going into the good stuff of the second half. This is just an unfortunate play. So we have a great pressure here, right? What ends up happening is this is a back pass, and it is we have great pressure, and the ball is played out to Kinsley. And I obviously get the idea here. We're trying to play back to Sage, but this was offside. So I think there's not a ton that can be done about this. Obviously, Kinsley, in hindsight, maybe hold this ball up, look for a runner into the space. All right, we should have runners coming this way, or try and buy yourself a little bit of time for them to get back on side. Obviously, again, this isn't a big deal, but what this also does is show what the reason I put this in here, right? Is it shows when you pressure the ball, right? When you make them think about it, good things can happen, right? This ball goes straight to Kinsley, and that's obviously what we want. A couple key things when we're talking about pressure. There's a couple cues where I want you guys to, if I see these, I need to go all out trying to get this ball, and those are, one, if they receive the ball with their back to our goal, right? So in the case of if this is a defender and they are facing their own goal, pressure them as hard as you can, right? We want to force a mistake because they, again, we talk about that speed of play and why we want to turn away from our goal when we're playing out of the back, because it takes that extra half second to turn, right? That's the half second, and that's why you want to press, to make sure that that half second is taken away from them, right? And the other thing to look for is a heavy touch, and that's what happened with this keeper here, right? The ball is played back to the keeper, and the touch is heavy. And what I mean by that, you can see this kind of bounces away from her. You see the distance between her and the ball, and this is true anywhere in the field. We want to see that kind of pressure applied when we have that heavy touch. All right, so now these are just a couple strings of play I really liked. Things I want to see more of. So in this case, we see the ball going forward. Sage is able to advance it, keeps the pressure, right? That touch is taken. We're able to get the ball down the field, right? So, and we see the runners. I like the runners now. I need some more in the center here, but we do see people running with Sage, and that's great. This is more left wing play. So what I'm seeing here is we win the ball back, and we see some good interplay on this left wing here. So Lily does a great job coming over, winning this ball. Kinsley, great touch to keep that. And then this is where we're dangerous. Like, we get the ball in space, we let people like Sage, like Kinsley, have that ball in the space there, and we can do something with it. So that's what we're going to continue to work on. I think that's where a lot of our opportunities are going to come from. This is very similar, right? So we're looking at, again, winning the pressuring, winning the ball back. It comes from the wing to the center. This is a great ball. Lydia, great awareness to find that gap there. Audrey, great job being there. And then this ball comes back across, right? And so we talk about this a lot when we talk about passing the ball and where the attention goes, right? Obviously, when you pass the ball, everyone's going to turn and look at where the ball went, and that's when we're dangerous to go back to. That's when we have the ability to go back to where it came from. In this case, this ball comes back over to Sage. Sage is again able to take the space, and we have those runners filling in, right? This is great. I talked to you guys, at least a few of you, about when we are in our box, I want to see 5 people across it. I should have my forward, I should have my 2 wings, and I should have my wing backs. So what I see here is a wing. I see a wing back. I have a forward. I have a wing back, and I have a wing. This is great. And then I have my 2 center mids here supporting. So this is exactly what I want to see. And we have the ball in. This is unfortunate. It just kind of gets caught under our feet. We're not able to do anything with it, but this is exactly the type of play that I want to see. This will get us goals, right? As you can see, I mean, we're doing our best. We're getting this in. That's the kind of play I want to keep seeing. That's absolutely it. Here's a special shout out to Claire here. This is before we go further, this is the kind of thing I was talking about at halftime when I talked about there's space behind them, right? They're playing very high. When the ball is on our side of the field, they're up all the way to midfield, right? There's space behind. The difference between playing a diagonal ball and trying to play it just over the top is a matter of that ball bouncing and going towards their keeper, right? If I'm in the middle of the field and I try and play it over for somebody to run onto in the middle of the field, the angle doesn't work for the keeper, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to run to their keeper and not allow us to get to it. But but Claire, this is a great play here, right? We're able to capitalize on this. We shield the ball, and look at the vision here. This is absolutely fantastic. This ball through to Millie to run on is exactly what I'm looking for when I say I want those diagonal balls to space, right? That's the kind of action I want to keep seeing, right? When we have the ball in the middle, we want to make sure that we are anticipating these runs. You can see Millie starting, just like we talked about at halftime. Millie's on our side of the field, so she's always going to be on side. But you see her starting to run to that space, and Claire's able to get that ball to her. This is perfect. That's exactly the kind of thing I want to see. So great work there, girls. All right. So this is unfortunate. This is kind of what I was talking about when we're talking about overcommitting, stabbing, not doing the four steps, right? We're going kind of quick and sideways, but we're not slowing down, and we're not going low. So this is a couple right in a row, and I just wanted to point it out. This happened all across the game. This is just, I saw 2 in 5 seconds, so I put this in here, but insert name here, did this at some point today. What we have here is pressuring the ball, and we kind of leave our feet to try and get the ball because we see it out there. The ball's played past us, right? And again, the idea is I want to slow down and not go past that ball. I want to contain them and keep them in front of me, right? In this case, we're not. And again, ball's played past us because we're coming in, and I labeled this coming in hot because we're not slowing down once we get that pressure, right? In this case, it didn't hurt, right? Sydney's able to collect the ball and get it out, but that's just really quick, a couple examples of overcommitting to the ball, and we're flying past the ball, not holding that space. This is a great example of hold up play. So when I say hold up play, I mean there's somebody, usually means a striker, right? In this case, the forward has their back to the goal they're trying to score on, and what they're doing is allowing the team to catch up with them, right? They're up at the top for a reason. They're closest to the other goal, but they do need teammates to help them. So in this case, what Claire's doing, she's holding this ball up, and then she's playing through to Millie, right? And that's similar to what we saw before. This is going to be the more traditional route. Obviously, the last one, Claire stole the ball and then did this. But this is going to be a more traditional route, and this is the kind of trigger we want to see if you're playing wing, right? This is the kind of trigger. If you see Claire or whoever coming back to get this ball, this is the kind of trigger we want to see to start those runs wide and be able to get into space. So great play there. Listen, again, as far as this game goes, I thought we held our own very well against a good team, right? They had a couple good players that made one too many good plays, and that's the difference in the game. But I think, kind of like we were talking about, the jump in division means that the play's a little bit faster, and you can tell as the game went on, you guys are starting to get to that speed. It's only a matter of time before we start to see our results. So good work today. We will see you at practice on Monday, and we have a few things to work on, but I'm very pleased with the progress just from Wednesday to Saturday. So good work, girls. Keep it up.